And we are back, and we just finished watching 2018's Fast Color, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes. This is currently streaming on Hulu. It is directed by Julia Hart with a screenplay credit to Julia Hart and Jordan Horowitz. This tells the story of a young woman who's been through some tough times and is trying to keep herself safe, and in the process going home to heal and to mend some fences there. This is tagged as drama, sci-fi, and thriller. It's mostly dramatic, though. There is a sci-fi element, and...
Well, it's not real. I mean, I don't think we need to dance around it. It's right in the trailer.
Sure.
She's basically being pursued by evil scientists who want to exploit her superpower.
Question for you. What was the purpose of the superpower?
You know what?
Because it's a cool superpower to have, to just basically destroy, but no one really did anything of value with it. And
well, I don't. It made it seem like they just didn't really know how to use it in a useful way. I think the only person that ever got any utility out of it was the little girl,
the granddaughter,
she stole
Lila,
from the store.
Right.
The power is they could turn stuff into dust and then reconstitute it back into what it originally looked like.
Right. But what was the caveat? But if something's broken, it remains broken.
If something's broken, it remains broken. And yeah.
So could they fix the Earth? Because...
Well, I think maybe... All right, here's my theory.
Okay.
I'm not even going to give a crap about spoilers with this movie. Because
fair enough. It is from 2018, so...
I'm just going to come out on right here and now and say, this isn't really that great a movie. I would say
I feel like the potential was there.
I don't even know about that.
But I don't think it meandered. Yeah. It didn't go anywhere. And it was like, you know what? As I was watching it, I was like, you know what? That is a cool superpower. But like you said, the only one who really used it was the granddaughter.
Yeah.
And it was like, what was the point of having this kind of cool superpower if you're not even going to use it?
Yeah, we're just going to hide in this house that we've had for generations and just stay hidden in the middle of this desert. And that was another aspect of the movie is that basically, we've abused the Earth so much that now it hasn't rained in 8 years.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, this is my theory.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that the reason why it stopped raining was because of that incident in the house.
Okay.
Because it stopped raining for 8 years. How old would you say that girl was?
I thought she was like 10.
She was about 10. Okay, so how when she was a little baby?
I mean, she was less. She was less than 2.
She was probably like 1 at that point.
At that point, yeah.
9, 10, hasn't rained in 8 years, and I'm guessing the reason why was because, what's the main character's name?
Is that a trick question? You know what? I feel like I just watched this and I've already cleansed my palate.
Gugu's character.
Her name is Ruth.
Lila was the daughter.
Right. Ruth.
Ruth. Okay, Ruth. I'm guessing Ruth is the one who broke the clouds or broke the sky.
Right.
And so she was the one who needed to fix it. But she couldn't fix it until she got her powers managed, because her powers were like completely fritzed out, haywire. She was causing earthquakes rather than constituting anything or disintegrating anything. And
she also mentioned that she never saw the colors.
Yeah, that was another aspect of the power. It's like when they used their power, they would see all these like fancy colors floating around, which I guess is where the title of the movie comes from, Fast Color.
I guess.
I'm sure it meant something to the writer, but it really was not conveyed very well.
Well, yeah. This would have been like a very cool, like 1 hour episode of like Twilight Zone.
I wouldn't even give it an hour. This feels like it was a short film that was extended way beyond its ability to be stretched.
I think the kernel of the idea was interesting. It just wasn't fleshed out very well. I think I mean, in the beginning, the Ruth character is in peril, but I just didn't understand why these scientists had her, what they were doing to her. Obviously, they were hurting her if she was bound.
No, she did that to herself.
What?
She tied herself up. In the beginning, it seems like she was tied up by somebody else, but no, she tied herself up because she ties herself up so this way, I don't know why, when she has one of her seizures, I guess it's less dangerous. I don't know.
But then why is she running away from this place?
She's running away because she's just always running. Whenever she has one of her seizures, she has to clear out of town because seriously, if you're trying to hide from people who want to take advantage of your earthquake powers and you accidentally set off an earthquake somewhere, guess who's coming to check out that area? The guy's hunting for earthquake powers. So she's getting the hell out of Dodge. Wherever she sets off an earthquake power, she has to go. She can't hang around. I mean, the guy seemed to already know who she was. I don't know how or why. They don't really go into details of how they how did they even discover this fact?
And how were they going to exploit her?
I don't know, but they were confident they could do it, and they were like really keyed up. They were like, "Oh, she can move tectonic plates. That could save the world."
How?
I don't know.
That doesn't cause rain or make water.
It might.
How?
I'm not a geologist. I don't know anything. Maybe she can make a mountain and it'll capture the air.
Okay.
Who the hell knows?
So I wanted to like this more because I really like Gugu. How do you say her name?
We practiced before we started recording and we failed miserably. It's Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I really like Gugu, and she gave a decent performance. It didn't really wow me. It wasn't bad. She obviously really tried to bring this character to life, but I think she was limited by the script. I think where this story fell apart was the script. I mean, I think all the other performances were decent. Jason Sudeikis, the little girl, Saniyya Sidney, I think is her name, the grandmother, Lorraine Toussaint. She was good too. The scientist, Christopher Denham, I could take him or leave him. I don't know. I don't know. It just,
like I said, this film was just full of just meandering, and it was just really, really slow. Nothing happened for a lot of it. It was pretty much just bickering between the mother and
the daughter.
And the kid was all focused on fixing a truck, and you didn't really see much. Like that was another, like the science, the hunter aspect was kind of not really developed too much. There was the scientist. Mm-hmm. There was apparently he had a partner who was the guy who was supposed to be capturing her, but who didn't do it and didn't say anything and just appeared menacing. Was that the guy or was that somebody else? No. And when the little girl bumps into them in the store, you see him. He's like. But is he the guy that the scientist originally was saying, like, Joe? This was Joe's job or whatever. Was that Joe? Are you sure that's him? Yes, that was Joe. And then there was like the lead guy who was on the screen for maybe 2 minutes. The older guy. Yeah, who's like yelling at them in the middle of the desert. And, there was just not really much developed as far as that goes. I think they were more focused on the family dynamic between the grandmother, mother, and daughter. And then eventually introducing the grandfather. That wasn't Joe, by the way. Yeah, that wasn't Joe. But anyway. The scientist was with a big bruiser guy. Right. That's guy, who I'm talking about. Yeah, but that guy's not Joe. Who the hell's Joe? I don't know who Joe is. I don't think you ever see him. I think he's just off screen. And he was supposed to he originally had Ruth, but then she disappeared. So. No, Joe never had. He said that. He said that this wasn't, I'm just the scientist. This wasn't my job. This was Joe's job. Yeah, and Joe didn't do it, and the scientist did, and that's why he was saying she got away.
So when she was in that building originally where she was bound, who had her?
Nobody. I told you, she tied herself up while she was in there.
How do you know this?
Because later on, she says
Are
that
you making some sort of inference? Because
later on, she says that she ties herself up when this stuff happens. Why do you think she has cream?
But he
why do you
said-
think she has cream just for her wrists?
But he said that Joe had her.
No, he never said that.
He absolutely
He
said that.
never
He
ever
absolutely said that.
Joe had her.
He said that Joe had her.
No, you weren't paying attention. He said that I had her, and the guy's like, yeah, but she got away, and he says, yeah, because I'm not the guy who's supposed to be getting her. Joe is supposed to be the one.
He said that Joe had her.
You know what? If I was so intent on proving this that I'm right, I would watch this film again, but I don't ever want to watch this film again. So let's just move on.
You're wrong. Anyway, so what could have made this movie better besides a better script?
I don't know. Getting rid of about an hour of the movie. Seriously, this was a short film that was just extended way too long.
I don't. Okay, so my notes would have been get rid of this like family drama, right? I think the mother and the father should have been together. I think the daughter should have been, maybe she just didn't like having this power and she tried to suppress it. And maybe that's why she was an addict, because she didn't like being different from other people. And that's why they lived in the middle of nowhere. And she runs with the wrong crowd. She gets herself pregnant. She comes home. She starts to settle down. And then there's that incident with the baby. Okay. From there, she decides that she's just going to run away because she doesn't want to hurt the people that she loves. The mother has no idea where she is, so now she's raising the granddaughter. But I think the grandfather should have always been in the picture, right? I think that the daughter makes some missteps. People start finding out about her. People try to exploit her. People try to figure out what these abilities are. All of a sudden, she's on the lam, she's on the run, and she's constantly changing because she doesn't want to get caught. She doesn't want to be experimented on because, let's be honest, somebody like that, I feel like that would be the assumption. We have to drain your blood and figure out why you are the way that you are.
Take brain samples or something.
Exactly. So I think it would have been more menacing that way, and would also kind of justify why she's always constantly on the run.
You know, that would have been a bit more interesting, but they never developed the bad guys. They
Right.
really...
And I think that was a misstep for this film. I think that that's what I mean. I mean, you get rid of the whole family drama of this.
You know, you could have that, but
you could have pieces of it, but
tell it in a more efficient way. I mean, seriously, how long did you say this movie was?
An hour and 40 minutes. It's not a short film.
Everything that happened between the grandmother, the mother, and the granddaughter, you could have squeezed that into 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
Or less, yeah.
And just told an entertaining story throughout the rest of the thing. Instead, it's like, oh, all right, we're going through the desert. Okay, or we're at the house. Discussion. Another discussion. Another discussion.
Yeah.
Another,
There was too much.
Let's try and get your powers under control.
Yeah.
No, okay, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
All right, let's
like
go to the store and fix
the
the
scene
car.
at the hotel, superfluous. Shouldn't have been there. The scene at the bar shouldn't have been there. Like, you're trying to, I guess they were trying to develop this character, but it didn't really add to the story. It didn't really give you any insight into the Ruth character. It didn't do the story any service because it didn't propel the story in any positive way.
They could have. I mean, you could have had those scenes to like demonstrate. Okay,
she's on the lam.
She's on the run, and these are the clues that she's leaving behind. But in those moments, you also could have given me a little bit more about the character, and just efficiently told me something that I didn't know, and give me a sense. This whole thing, it was pretty much just a build up to, oh, okay, now I figured out why my powers don't work. I gotta remember what my kid's face looked like, and all right, there, you're done.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that you weren't really that subtle about it either. You know, oh, I'm focused on the bowl, and she's not looking at the cameras. The kid's face is in the middle of the screen. The bowl is like on the upper third of the screen. You know, she's not looking at the damn bowl.
I don't know. I mean, I wanted to like this more, but it's very hard to. I think the story could have been more interesting if they had kind of streamlined it. I think the writer-directors were trying, or the writers/director was trying to put too much into one story. And sometimes if you just focus on the one thing, that's where you really would have had a better impact on this story. I think if they had focused on the sci-fi element and made this more of like a thriller than a family drama, I don't think the family drama should have been, or it could have been, but it could have been more in the, like I was saying, in the background, where she feels like she caused this monumentous thing that almost killed her daughter. So now she's just going to run away, become an addict, live this buzzed out life so that she doesn't have to deal with this thing that is inside of her that she can't get rid of because it's inherent in her, apparently. So
I don't know.
I mean, that's not the story that we saw, but I think that would have been a better film.
I just get the feeling that they were trying for something that was like more, I guess, meaningful than just your run-of-the-mill thriller. They were trying to make the audience think or find something profound, and it wasn't there. This, like I said, this was a short film that you would see on YouTube and be like, oh yeah, that might make a good feature, thinking, oh, they'll be putting more action and stuff into it. Not more of the quiet moments that you have because you don't have a special effects budget.
Okay. You have good movies that also don't have special effects budgets, but they have a good story. They have a good cohesive story. There's an idea. The idea is fleshed out. You get from point A to point B, and you don't really need.
And you learn about the characters. Look at the Vast of Night.
Yes, that's a perfect example.
That cost like 80 cents to make that movie.
Exactly.
And it was a good movie. And seriously, the only special effect was at the very last moment.
End. Yeah.
The rest of it is just an interesting story being told through the characters and what they're doing. You learn about each character. You learn about their little foibles, their personalities, their character arcs.
And you learn more about the situation by the other characters that are introduced.
The situation is like propelling them along, and we're with them on the ride.
Right.
Nothing in this movie was propelling along. It was just sort of like floating in its own family drama, melodrama.
Yeah.
And then like I guess the end with like, oh, now she's made it rain. And how is this, like, that was like another thing. They really were using the music in the movie.
Yeah.
Was like, this is the moment. Yeah. The swelling music is the music is swelling up to this amazing thing that's going to happen. And then it's just, oh, it rained.
Right.
All right, well, now is the part where they just take down those bad guys. Oh, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They come to an agreement.
Yeah. And then
they just drive away.
At the end, where she opens up the letter from her mother, it's like, oh, what was it? Find the others like you and tear apart the sky. I'm like,
apart the sky.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. And why the hell would she have that note in her? Like, wasn't it like hidden in her necklace or something? Something that she always just wore, and it was just like, what, you've been holding on to this the entire time? Oh, you remember that mythical character I used to tell you about?
Yeah.
She's real, and she's living in Rome, and now it's time to go find her and tear the sky apart.
And Rome, Italy, Rome, anywhere USA, like where? Like I don't know. There's just, Talk about plot holes.
And do you need to now? You've fixed the earth. It's raining now.
Right.
All you have
Things
to do
will
is
grow. Keep making it rain.
just concentrate a little, and it'll rain wherever you want it to now.
Yeah.
This wasn't a good movie.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this?
I'd give it a 3.
3.
Yeah.
Interesting. It is that low, unfortunately. I did want to like this more because I did like a lot of the performances. I didn't think that the performances were bad.
I didn't either. I think the weakest one was the grandmother because she was just really just drenched in melodrama at the end.
Yes. And the heavy-handed opening voiceover, like, you know, we really messed up the earth kind of thing, and yada yada yada. And so I thought there was going to be more of that, I guess, because they opened it with this statement, but it never really veers into that. And it's like, well, how did we mess up the earth? You're not really providing examples, or
I mean, you could pretty much assume.
You can assume, but again, you're not really given a clear picture. And then when you say we, who do you mean? Do you mean the scientists? Do you mean people in general? Was it her own daughter? Did her daughter really break the earth? You don't know. There's just so many.
Wait, whose daughter?
Her daughter, Ruth. Did Ruth break the sky?
You know what? The grandmother was the narrator?
Yeah, at the beginning. You don't remember?
I don't know. I'm kind of trying to forget this, having to watch this movie.
Yeah, this was not good.
Let's just wrap it up because I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, this is not how I wanted to end Black History Month, but I know, but I just, you have strong women leads, and this story was kind of wasted.
Yeah,
it was really, really wasted, and it's unfortunate because I really feel like the actors tried to do something with this, and I don't know that the story was there so that they could have done anything. I don't think any of this was salvageable other than a complete overhaul of the story, unfortunately. But by that point, it was too late. I think will give this a 3. It really was not good. This is a hard pass, unfortunately. I mean, there are decent performances in it. Again, nothing that wowed me. There's
nothing to see. Just don't even waste your time.
Okay, fair enough. And with that, I will bid you all a good night.
Good night.